day. The sun's out. I've just woke up. I watched 100 meters yesterday, like just before bed. But I was already thinking through something, and I think it sort of exemplified it. And this video might be a long one, and I think I've had like friends say, why you keep uploading these videos, they're gay, whatever that means, but it's like weird to see my emotions and my feelings being, said on camera. And it's weird because I thought that this was be a good thing, because I thought that there would be people who feel this way, who feel the way I feel about writing. And this, I don't want fame or nothing like that. That's never the point. It feels similar to the writing. And it feels wrong, because I don't want any of this to be online. This might be my last video, but I don't have plans for that. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to. I don't want the burden that comes with making these things. Trying expecting that it should be good, or maybe moral implications, how it makes me feel. But I want to get into the heart of what I was saying yesterday in my own head, and I just want to talk for a bit, because I've got things that I need to meddle with. And if this is my last video, I'd like to really go through it thoroughly. Okay. So the channel is about being a writer. And obviously I've put my heart and soul into it for a bit. I've spoke a lot. I don't want the fame, I know, I don't know, I don't really know why I'm doing this. And I kind of want to bring it to the writing game, because like last night I was sitting there, and I had a feeling, an emotion that I couldn't quite get back. I was saying my name over and over and over again to peak that sort of disconnected consciousness that happens when you look in yourself in the mirror too long. Why? Why do I do the things I do? Why have I chosen them? I do the things I do. I chose a master's. When I got my undergrad, I remember crying because I didn't think I could get this far. And now I'm doing a master's degree, and I'm thinking that I'm not good enough, or that I can't push the boundaries, and my mind is just thinking about all these things constantly, about what it means to be good, and if I have it, and I feel like it's such a detriment to think about these things all the time. But why did I start? I remember, this is my journey. When I just applied for university, that's when I just stopped skating. I just finished working at Miller and Carter on Grey Street, right, just at the end of Grey Street. And I just started going to church with the guy I was skating with. I just started going to his church. in Gateshead. You know, obviously I get a lift, and it was convenient. Why I make that decision, I don't know. But I sort of I prayed and I said, look, if it's your will that I do this, then you know, put us in, put us in, right? Because I had 3 distinction stars from Uniform Public Services, and I that was my COVID year. That's why I marked so high because of COVID. You know, I'm not a smart guy, and that's what gets me. You know, I'm not a smart guy. I'm a passionate guy. I go by passion alone. You know, for a long time, all I really like whenever it comes to people saying I want to do this, I want to do it, I always tell my friends and stuff like, you know, I go by passion alone. You know how far that can take someone. You know, I do this because I love it, and I started to do it because I realized I loved it. But why, why do I love it? Like, I did 3 years of the undergrad, and, the first year was full of me. Um, the first year was full of me grinding. You know, I read so many books. I remember Tempest in the uni library, in that big Roy Shakespeare Company, that big book they give you for uni. So many. I remember talking text and so on. I remember reading Fight Club and Dexter and Frankenstein. Weird combo. Uh, like for uni, I think in total I read about 350 texts over 3 years. So that's like, let's just say 115 texts a year, which isn't crazy. But it was the most I'd ever done at the time, and I'm realizing like I went with passion on that one, and I just feel like I say I talk with passion, and I think I always speak with passion like I have answers, but I'm not really a hard worker. I'm not really a grafter. Um, and I'm doing this masters, and it's like, to me, when I did it, it was like, it just felt right. Like, when I did it, I knew, okay, I'm doing the masters. Duh, like I want to get better at this. I want to do this. In I hate saying this, I'm not trying to show off, but like, I have a book in the drawer where I've told everybody this. I've told everybody this, and not everybody, obviously, like my friends and stuff. That, like, in that book, in that notebook, I have a suicide note, right? And I can still read it out. I still, like, it's there clear as day. But I also have, you know, get a master's degree by 35 in, like, the to do goals in life, or, like, the timeline of life. I also have PhD by 50, you know. But in the same book, that there's a suicide note. There's proof that I've done better than I wanted to do as a child. 24, I get a master's degree. And for me, it's a big thing. 24 was when my dad died. He died at 24, so I feel like I'm coming up into a really important age in life. But again, I'm trying to question, why does that affect me? Why is that so important? I don't feel like I'll ever be as good as my dad. By 24, you already had like 3 kids. Married. I'm about to divorce and go on to a second wife, but still took care of everyone. Still put the money into the family. Still worked. Still loved. Um, and and there's my mom, you know, we struggle and he dies, and I'm glad he doesn't divorce her right away, because we wouldn't have survived without that money from the government, you know. And I'm not trying to like question everything and be ungrateful, because like I can understand why, you know. I grew up enjoying comic books, and we all love things like, you know, Regular Show, Adventure Time, like all these things that are just beautiful stories, things as a kid that do just make you think. You know, I'm privileged with the pension, you know, the widow's pension credit, you know, and I'm able to survive and live. Why do I get kicked out of Heaton Manor for 2 years? Why do I go into Bridges, Newcastle Bridges School? The best thing that could have happened to me as a kid. There was a guy who went to a comic shop once, and sorry, a girl, a mom, a woman, and she was talking to the shopkeeper, Scott, and you know, she was saying, "Oh, my daughter got kicked out. Now she has to go to Newcastle Bridges School." And you know, I left by then, and I couldn't help but say it to the woman, like, "This is great news. You know, this is great news." Maybe it wasn't. Maybe for her it just didn't work out that way. But for me, it worked out. You know, it sparked some sort of idea to study. Like, even when I was studying there, I realized I'm 23 now, and I'm thinking about how I studied when I was 16. There was so much anxiety in that kid. That's the reason why I was pushing harder, because I always thought someone like me couldn't do that, couldn't pass a GCSE, which is such a twisted, sad idea. As a kid, you're meant to pass GCSEs. Everything's in place for you to do that. And you know, I think it's when you don't have that typical, you know, you don't have that mainstream, you don't have that ease of access. It just feels so crazy. It's so unfortunate that kids have to go through that, you know. I had a kid come into the house the other day, friends of my brother, not friends, but like, you know, he was 17, he was talking about how, you know, he didn't do his GCSEs. And he said it like it was a flex. You know, you really said it like it was a flex. None of that stuff's a flex. I'm gonna blow my nose. I'm really sorry for this, but it's just not a flex at all, and it's sad. Like, really sad. Like, this kid deserves to do something with his life. You know, and this shouldn't hold him back. Sorry. Why do we think about it that way? You know, why do we always flex about it that way? Why is it always that, you know, people like us, we don't do that, you know? And the kids started talking about about having a love for the chef game, and you know, when I'd left Miller and Carter, that was like my 2 years in total of graft, you know. Maybe not two, maybe a 1 year. You know, maybe I always over exaggerate things in life. But you know, that's when I was done being a kitchen porter. When I wanted to do uni as a kitchen porter, there it was. I was thinking about like, well, wait, like how far can I go? Like, why? What passion? What am I doing? You know, I'm trying to think over the decision. Why did I choose creative writing, year one in Northumbria? I think I chose Northumbria because I thought it's the easiest place to get in. Like, genuinely, even if it was close to home, I thought Newcastle had that prestige, and I don't think I've ever like been worth much. In my head, I don't value myself, you know, and in turn, I really do judge people, you know. I really do judge people more than I need to, you know, and I really do put things on people, and I don't want to be that judgmental guy, you know. I don't want to be, because the ceiling's high. The ceiling's already high enough. Like, I never expected to be in this place. I had a friend back in the day, Joe, who my friend. we used to listen to Blue Rain Boots, and they had a song called 2023. When we got into 2024, I was so dumbfounded because I never thought I'd live past 2023. Like as a kid, I genuinely thought I would never live past it, um, which is an insane thing to think. Yeah, nobody that age should think like that. And like, okay, I'm trying to make a point in the video, but even I can't make such a conclusive statement because last night I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find that conclusion. And I was thinking maybe I'm saying all these words because I want to find inspiration, motivation, something to get back, something to fight for, something to go for, you know? But there's just so many whys. Why do I have to go and get up and study outside? Why can't I stay in all day? I don't work like a dog, you know. That's one of the issues that really upset me is I talk a big game. It's just when it comes to actually writing, I don't have like a hunger that makes us write. Sometimes it'll burst out, and sometimes I'll write, you know, a short story or a chapter like in maybe like an hour. A short chapter, obviously. But I don't work it every single day, you know. And I always thought that I needed to work harder than everybody else because I was never as good as anybody else. And I feel like that's such a manosphere idea, you know. But truthfully, is what right does it hold? You know, what claim does it hold? Because am I better than anybody else? I don't think so. You know, I really don't think so. Um, because everyone's got so unique talents, and I'm gonna divert now. And why did I choose the path of most me resistance? I could have chose a path of sport, you know, me versus the other guy. Oh my bad, the sun's coming in. I could have chose me versus the other guy. You know, I could have chose like that, right? That was something that sprung into my mind yesterday watching the movie. Is like, why did I choose writing? I'm not versing anyone. I'm not against anyone. I'm against me. Writing is me against me. It's getting my good thoughts out and not doing the bad ones. But why am I writing? I don't I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. I have my idea. I think I've always put my labels on it. You know, when it was comics, it was comics. When it was coming into uni, it was writing stories, and every single story I've done always seems to go by, and I think, wow, you know, that was just so bad, and not only bad but pointless, you know. But it's not because it's practice, it's work, it's I'm trying. And I don't want to speak these words and start to discredit myself and say I don't try. I do try. But sometimes I don't try, and that really annoys us. Really annoys us. like, I don't know. I really want to give the video some sort of conclusion, some sort of pow, some sort of like answer. I don't have the answer. Why do I do what I do now, and why do I stress over it? Like every day I wake up, right, and I try to pray, read my Bible, journal, um, and make one of these videos. I feel like it does. Like, on paper, it puts us in a good mental focus. I just quite like look through them most of the time. And then I get dressed, I maybe go to my nan's or something and see her. And then I go and do my work, you know? Right now I'm in the middle of writing two short stories, trying to come up with a dissertation. I'm trying to transfer poems from my notebook onto my Word document, you know? And I'm looking at a whole bunch of different things. I got the uni magazine that should be coming out that I'm freaking out about because I haven't really heard anything back. You know, apparently there's a spring showing with one of the scripts that we did, and um, I just don't hear anything back. You know, I'm looking at different things like how many seminars, you know, are there any seminars on? Are there any workshop groups? I like to volunteer for stuff. You know, last semester I was volunteer for the Young Writers Awards, and you know we just finished the award ceremony for that, which is the things I'd shown in the other video. And you know, I've got all sorts of extra projects, and then on top of that, when I come back home, I play the saxophone. I try to do my Chinese, my Duolingo, whatever it might be. I'm trying to become ambidextrous, so I'm trying to write with my right hand. I haven't done that in a while. Um, and then I just made it earlier, um, earlier like a week ago, of every day when you go to bed at night, just try to send off a couple of poems. You know, go look at somebody's submission guides and just make a Word doc, find a couple of poems you like, and don't think too much, just send it out. Um, so that's been something I've been trying to put on top of myself, you know, and I've been trying to read Sanderson, Way of Kings, and some Game of Thrones, and like, you know, I haven't really been reading Game of Thrones. I've been getting through Way of Kings. I wanted to read 100 pages by the end of the semester, and I think I've done that. I think I've done that, but whenever I sit down at night, I keep thinking to myself like, I don't think the 100 pages has ended. You know, I've got to push harder, push harder. But then all of like the reason why I'm telling you my whole like literally my whole day to day activity is, you know, well, like if it's a Tuesday it's class, if it's a Wednesday it's class, if it's Friday it's sax, you know, if it's Sunday it's church, if it's Saturday, sometimes it's a thing or another thing, but I usually it's free. Um, you know, I've been not doing a lot with it, but you know, my cousin's trying to make a film right now, and there was some things that I was doing with him. You know, in the books I'm trying to read, I had a reading list. I was trying to read a lot of Northern writers, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to read used to reading. I'm just going to do it, and it's been a blast so far. It's a really fun journey we're on. And the narrator being the narrator, you know, yeah, I just didn't think this type of story was possible. But there's the reason I'm telling you my whole life story. You know, my day-to-day activities, because I'm questioning like, why does that bring so much stress? You know, it brings me so much stress, and I always stress that. I'm always, you know, when I get on the sax, I'm demoralized, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not good enough for this. When I go to uni, I'm always, or like when I'm working, whether I go to Habita, whether I go to, like, what do we got? You know, there's Melly Cafe, there's the Five Swans, there's Mile Castle, there's Luther's. Sometimes a little study in Luther's. There's, you know, Costa. I went to Costa yesterday in Eldon Square, and you know sometimes it's Cafe Nero, sometimes it's the Lit and Phil, right? And I like, okay, I realize like I've got to put a lot of work into the Lit and Phil. You know, I got to go put a lot of work into the Lit and Phil, because the Lit and Phil's where a lot of my work is that needs to be done. You know, it's the writing scene. You know, Red Scroll Presses with new writing. Ellen's there. Like, there's a whole bunch of like writers, and like that's just where you have to be. You know, and I can't just like not be there. And you writing North, and you know I'm trying to stay connected to all this world, and really make changes and I don't know. Why do I stress so much about it, right? Like, it's such a lucky thing. Like, every day I wake up, I got lungs, you know, I can breathe. I got a body that works, you know. I eat good food every single day. Why me? Why now? And why do I write? Like, what's this? You know, I know I've got a love for biker. I see these people and you know the lads who are just downtrodden, who just aren't doing perfect in life, and like I have the opinion that art can really solve out everything. You know, art is everything. You know, the industry and so on. It's just man trying to do things for the sake of gain, and when you paint, it's just like you paint. When you write. You know, when you do poetry, you just get it out. You know, I feel like they're like holy things. You know, and I feel like these kids all deserve a chance at that. You know, like when you're in Biker Primary and you maybe you go to like Woga Tech or Heat Manor or whatever it's called these days, Jasmine Academy, and you know the people who go into Benfield. I feel like all these people have the right. You know, all these people have the right. They do, and I feel like I want them to write more than I want myself to write. Really, which isn't true. It's not true at all because I don't know where I'd be without this writing. Like without this writing, I wouldn't be where I am now. And I love the writing. And there's days, there's not been a day. That's it. A friend asked me, you know, or told me. He said, "Don't burn out. You know, make sure you take breaks. You know." I told him, I'm not being cocky. I told him I don't get burnt out because it's just not in the cards. You know, like every day I wake up, there's a love I have for writing, which like words can't express. You know, and I hate the idea that something has a honeymoon phase and it's not gonna last long. You know, it's just one of them things I'd do again, like writing, not sorry, skating, like comic books. You know, a whole bunch of things I did as a kid that you know they don't really last long, but I end up liking them for a little bit, and that becomes that, and then they drop off. You know, like no, like, this is different. I want this, but why? Family just came back. I don't really care if they're speaking. You know, like, it's not embarrassing. They came back from shopping. They speak how they speak. I'm not gonna be embarrassed by any of that. My mom's my mom. I love her. I well and truly love my mom. My mama's boy. Cool dad. I'm just like why am I doing all that? I'm stressing about all these things and like why am I doing the things I want to do? Why do I choose my day to be that way? You know, why do I choose my day to be that way? I'm here, I do something, I get out, I work, I come back and I do things. You know, and yeah, I don't know why I hold on. Camera issue. Um like I don't know. I don't know. I really want a conclusion in this video that brings people like some sort of inspiration. How about I say why I'm doing it now? I think for me, there's no other thing in life that I'll work towards. I want to work towards. I don't see any labor. I don't see any job. I don't see anything more rewarding, more me, something that I'll work towards hard as I do writing. I also love biker, and I want to put it on the map, and I want to prove that these people's stories are unique, and prove that they're beautiful people, you know, and prove that they're tragic, and the people should be paying attention. The government should be paying attention that you know, as an article put it, the biker wall is a modernist architecture success. No, it's not. You know, I have opinions on that stuff. You know, there's just people that need funding. There's people that need love. There's people that need to be told, like, look, you're not just an industrial slop, hellscape, dystopian, edge of dystopian, like cultural zeitgeist type of person. You are unique. The dialect you speak in, the time that you struggle in. I think anyone by virtue of being post Thatcher and Biker Wall struggling. When I write my magnum opus, the kid's gonna be from Raby Street, you know, because Raby Street's like that place in Biker, you know, and I think obviously maybe it will, maybe it won't, you know that's a writing process, but I'm trying to make a point that you know that's really how important it is. When I make a magnum opus, you know, about biker, like what is biker, what is biker? Raby Street is the point, you know. Raby Street's the point. Raby Street seems to exemplify everything biker is, and Cheviot Mountain Vinny, biker primary, and so on. And all these kids, you know, they're not just get a job, minimum wage this, you know, Trump in America's doing this and life is this and that. Like, you can be an artist and you can be so much and you can be so unique just by virtue of growing up in this time and now, you know. The stories I want to tell are the people who grew up in the early 2000s, you know, are the people who lived life in that, who experienced and witnessed that. Because to me, those people are unique and special. Every single one of them is a brother and a sister, you know. Neighbours, like, well and truly. And I love them. I love them to death. Why do I do writing? Because I love it. I love it. I love crafting a story. I love all the novels I've read, and I love the idea of being able to make one. And I love stories. I love emotion. I love what it feels like to feel. When I read stories, I feel human. That's so true. When I read stories, I feel human. When I read poems, I feel human. When I read poems, I feel like people are trying to take a snapshot of a feeling, and that's beautiful. Because feelings fleet, feelings don't last. And I love the idea that in a poetry, like, we have a type of writing which captures those feelings. Poetry is so much more than that too. Like, writing is so much. I can encapsulate so much in my will to write. Why do I want to write? I don't know. Why do I want to play some instruments? Like, whenever I think about getting good at an instrument, I always get shy and embarrassed. When I think about getting into a room full of writers, I'm shy and embarrassed. But I always thought that, like, I could beat everything with passion, you know? I could beat anxiety with passion. I could beat anger with passion. I could beat lust with passion. I could beat fear with passion. For, you know, my love for this thing. La passion. It's this far. And this is the part in the video I didn't want to say, because now it's in the earth, and now if it fails, and now if whatever, you know. But I just got shortlisted for a magazine. I'm not gonna say what, but, and it's like fantastic news. But I go and when I get that news, I go ahead and do something really dumb, right? And now I feel like shit for doing that dumb thing. But I feel like even that dumb thing, along with that good thing, has made me like has put me in this mindset. Really, put me in this mindset where I'm thinking about it. I'm literally seeing clouds move above us. That's fucking insane. The way they move is insane. I think life is so worth living. I used to didn't think that. I think some people don't think that. I think too many people live in their phones and you don't look at the clouds and you don't look at the sky. You don't realize that the world exists. Everyone's got a fear of FOMO. You know, everyone feels like they're missing out. You're not. You're missing out on your own life because you're not doing something with it if you're on your phone. Um, and I'm thinking, God, don't take this away. Feet don't fail me now. I got to stand my ground. Yeah, like and genuinely like this is it. Like I'm always sort of scared that I'm not good enough, and you know, I think I've got to accept that that's a part of me and a part of the thing I struggle with. That I get shortlisted for this thing, and it's like I read the email once, and it's practically we want to publish your story, and I read the email the next time, and it's practically just to let you know we've shortlisted you, but we're not really gonna put you on the mag. I read the email once, and the guy's saying, "You got a good fair chance, buddy. You know, don't give up. We'll be in contact." And I read the email, and it's him saying, "I gave up." You know, and I'm literally thinking like, God, don't take this away. And I'm thinking about how much I feel like I need this. You know, in my life. I feel like my poetry isn't being published. You know, I thought I would have something published, but I like it's kind of going crazy with the On Edge magazine. I don't know what's happening. You know, I like that's the thing. I just don't know what's happening, so I'm not sure. And I'm thinking like, oh well, if that's taken away, then please don't take this one. Don't take this one because like, what if you know? And there's something inside of that publication which is a validation, a vindication of writing. Of am I a writer? Can I make it? I don't get it. I don't get it, and I feel like I know I don't get it. You know, the 100 meters that the movie was like talking about. You know, you put everything. Um, the guy that retires in the movie, he's talking about how you put everything. You put anxiety, you put fear, you put love, you put hurt, you put pain, you put laughter. You put it on that race. You know, and I feel like what do I do in my stories? I put laughter, I put pain, I put life, I put love, I put anger, I put lust, I put embarrassment, shy, confident, rage, peace, all for a shot like this, all for a shot of you're shortlisted. Also, it could be put out there. And like, that's the thing. Like, I have to speak on this. Being a Christian and wanting to be a writer is not my head. But by virtue of me feeling and thinking these things, my head says thus, colon, that it's wrong sometimes. Because I'm only going for fame and glory, and I just can't express to you how little I want fame and glory. I don't want to ever gain money from my writing, but I know by virtue of manuscript, agent, publisher, there's a contract. And one should be paid for their labour. So maybe there's just that aspect. Like, Lord, I don't want to just gain a lot of money and be hot fucking shit. my hard labor does gain fruits. Like everybody's. You graft and you get money back. So what's wrong? And maybe there's something to be said. And I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to be said. I don't think there's anything wrong. I was told as well. I remember asking my priest, like, look, I've got three main things I want to do in life. I want to be a good husband. No, sorry. I want to be a good husband and father. I want to be a good man, like a really good man, a good person. A really fucking good person, somebody who's actually nice to people. And I want to be a writer. And he just said, don't overthink. He said, don't overthink. Do it. And that's my go ahead. I'm like, okay, I've got this. I can write. And I feel like that was in a way spiritually a right. And this whole thing about like getting published, maybe that's like a fleshly thing, like a on the world thing of like you have the right to be a writer. No one can deny this. Someone has affirmed and vindicated it. I want to be published. I want to be published because it's what a writer does. I think about how great, like how reading Steinbeck has affected me. Because it was published. And I don't have any pride, I don't have any hurt, I don't have any like skin in the money game. It's just, how do I read these books? Because they're published. That's why. But how else would I read it if somebody didn't publish it? And like that's literally it. And there's some parts of writing that I just love, like the poetry and stuff, where I just want to get them published because it's like they're a fun read and a fun write, and I'd love for someone to read or write them and just like enjoy it, to get something out of it, whatever it might be for them. I don't know why I battle with this idea that's wrong sometimes, because it's just not. Like, I'm just trying to write. But why am I trying to write? Why am I trying to write? Why did I make these decisions? Why did I get to uni and make that decision? Why did I leave college? Because I remember college was me just trying to be like my dad, and now I remember going into uni, it was an acceptance. I'm not my dad. I have to be different. I have to be me. And now I'm in the middle of being me, and I'm like, why did I choose this? Why? The point I'm saying in this is, I could be something so vastly different right now. I'm a 23-year-old young man in Newcastle. I could be something horrendous. I could be dead. I could just be working a job. But why is it that my brain is latched on, and I mean latched on to this writing, to where every day I wake up, if I don't write, bad day. Every day I wake up, I'm thinking about writing. And I'm thinking about how bad I am at it, how much I need to get better, how much I need to work more. I'm thinking about how much I read, and I'm battling all these thoughts, which is like simple laziness. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to read. I don't want to write. Reading's hard, and I get up every day, and I'm like, I want to read. I want to read. But then there's like, there's YouTube, there's TikTok, there's Netflix, there's Disney. I want to read. That's my craft. I want to get up every single day, and I want to do this craft. Why do I get up every single day? Why is it the choice I've chosen, I'm so blessed. I wake up and I remember saying to my nan, I want to paint. I want to paint, and I bought my easel, and I showed you guys that penguin painting. And my friend the other day, Ben, the guy who you heard on the last video, he's like, whoa, Gord, that's amazing. And he's sitting there taking photos of the painting, hyping us up and stuff. And I'm like, I might cry, but I don't know. I couldn't really tell him how much that meant, In the same way of being shortlisted, like there's something basic inside of every human being where if you tell them, like, well done, like, congratulations, your efforts mean something. that's satisfaction enough. Like, I was satisfied with painting that painting. You can actually probably see it just partially. And like somebody had liked it. He liked it. Like, not even just liked it, but he was like, whoa. You know, and it's the same thing with writing. Maybe I want that reaction with writing because, like, not for me, but like that he felt something. When there was something blank there. There was nothing. There was a canvas, which in this day and age, to be fair, with the industrial revolution and the ability to make canvases, it's like, it's easier, right? It's all easier. But there was nothing in the life. Then there was a canvas, and then I decided with the measly money I have, not that I have little, but with the money, this thing that means whatever. I paid for paints. I paid for canvas. I paid for brushes, and a brush, which, like, how the fuck do you just choose to make a brush? With spirit and spirit, And this guy looks at it and he's like, wow, and he feels something. Am I LARPing? I don't want to LARP, I want to live it. Painting gives so much satisfaction, Painting to me, it's like a definition of hard work paying off. Oh, and I'm losing it. I'm losing it because I know I just said something that I want to talk about. Like, like, I don't know. Why? Why do I do this? Why do I wake up every day and this is what I choose? But I love it. I love painting. I do. And I love the stuff that instruments have done. I love that the sax has been me struggling, but then realizing that I'm fucking doing it, that it actually works, that I'm learning, that I'm getting better at it. And every day I wake up and I'm like, my main thing, I know every single day my main thing. Every day I know my main thing. Every day I affirm that my main thing will be my thing for the rest of my life. I'm a writer. And I'm not a writer by trade. I'm not a writer by passion. I'm not a writer by how many publications I have. I'm not a writer by how I declare it. I'm not a writer because of my ego, and I'm not a writer because of my fear. I'm a writer because every day I wake up and my mind is enveloped in a cloud that won't stop screaming. Right, 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 right. That's why I'm a writer, because my mind tells me to write. I can't outrun it. I can't run away from it. There's no other option, there's no other decision. This isn't like a negative thought that comes in that says, do this, do that, This isn't a little temptation, a little push, a little, Every day I wake up and my mind, it screams, man. I'm a writer because I'm a writer. And words can't do that justice. Why do I make these decisions? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want money. I don't want fame. I want publication because that's what writers do. They get published. By virtue of it, I guess I'll have to make money. Sick. I never want the money. I never wanted the money. Maybe I'll need the money in the future, and these things will actually financially support us. That's life. You need to be financially supported. The place we're in now, I don't know how well I'll be able to be a revolutionary communist, but like, yeah. The system that kills people, I'll have to succeed at. I don't quite care. I don't care about making money. I care about writing. I want to write. And I got my urges and I got my smaller things, right? Like I got my painting. I like collecting my sticks. I love nature. I love camping. The instruments. And so much more. I've got my life, and Sonder, everybody's got their life. Which is just as equally unique. But I hate the fact that I'm living my life and it's full of hate, it's full of ego, it's full of pride, it's full of judgmental feelings, it's full of anger, it's full of regret and despair. And I do the wrong choices, I do the right choices. Why do I choose to do anything, you know? Which really does sound a bit like I'm fishing for like intellectual compliments, but I really couldn't care less. I do hope that you find your thing. Deep down, I don't know why. Like, I've chosen it, and I think at this point, I've made my bed. At this point, I've made my bed. I made a decision long ago when I was a child. And because of that decision, I live the life I live now, with the hopes and the dreams and the goals I do now, with the mindset of on the things that I do now, of the things I do now. And I think if there's some conclusion in the video, I think it might be this. Everyone's got their own shit, and regardless, I feel like my daily routine shouldn't be done with any contempt. Shouldn't be done with any sloth or any ugh. None of that. I've got a beautiful life. I'm a lucky person. I'm a lucky person. Nothing makes me better than anybody else. I just have the thing that I really want to do. And I really want to write. And I hope to God that everybody else has a good life, everybody else is successful, and everybody else is at peace, and they get the emotions and the feelings and the experiences that all sort them out to where they don't feel like they can just be trapped in nothing, in little. I hope everybody sees the value of the earth, of their God. The God, you know, I'm not here to proselytize, but I hope everybody finds peace. I hope everyone goes to heaven. In my eyes, I want everyone there. I don't care. I don't care. And I hope everybody's life is just full of like events that you have to go through, but by going through them events, like you just get better. I hope everybody gains perspective. This generation's growing up now that like they don't know about the things I know about. They're like my little cultural things aren't their cultural things, and I don't know. I know I want to write. I know I have to write. I know at this level, at this point, I don't know why I want or why I chose. I know I've got a need. That I do know. I'd like to know why. I'd like to know why I chose this stuff. I'd like to know what's keeping this going. I'd like to know why I'm pushing. But at this point, genuinely at this point, I wake up and it's automatic. It's automatic. I've got a catalogue of things that I could write that now, even if I would have never bring up another idea in my entire life, I could work on these the rest of my life. You know, I've got a mind that thinks faster than a heart that can act. I don't think I'm as passionate and as hardworking as I'd like to be, as I'd even see myself as being. But at the same time, because I'm not pumping out a life's work within 2 months, doesn't mean I'm not hardworking or passionate. That's such a belittlement of myself. Why am I doing that to myself? That's torture. Wouldn't do that to anybody else, would I? Takes a while to write. That's the bloody one thing you can damn well figure out. Short story's not going to take a week to do. You gotta get good at these art forms. You gotta go in it for years. You gotta get your tenure. You gotta get retired in this game. You gotta go long. You gotta learn. You gotta hone your craft. You gotta be a master of your craft. It takes a while. You gotta read and write and read and write and meet and look and see and feel and experience, and then go back and read and write. I think this will be my last video. Not because I'm embarrassed, not because I don't want to do them, because I want a different time in life. We're about to come up to the summer. Got to be spending less time on these things, and I'm hoping that in the morning maybe I can get some more reading done if I don't have to do a video. I want to say it was a good ride. I want to say hopefully I've never said anything that hurts anybody, and that maybe people get inspired. And with that, I think I'm going to take the next 10 to 20 minutes, might be 5 minutes, but I want to talk on you. And I want to talk to you as if I know who you are. I want to talk to you directly. I want to speak. And I just want to question. I just want to go off on one. This will be like a For You page pull. But why are you doing what you're doing? Why is it that we, like, if anybody gets even to this point in the video, why have you spent this much time? I don't know. But you as a person, you can do anything your heart sets out for. There's no limitations for you. No, like, there's nothing wrong if you just want to be a really good artist. There is something in art that transcends the modern, that transcends the idea that, I want to make as much money as possible and have this and that and this and that. Art is something that you can do when you're rich, and art is something you can do when you're poor. It's a mindset, it's a feeling, it's a whatever, And there's a reason why I advocate it for everybody, because I think everybody should find that thing that gets them out of bed, that makes them feel rich when they're poor, that makes them feel poor when they're rich, because they know they need to work harder, do more, do better, right? It doesn't matter how rich you are. If you can't write a short story, you can't write a short story. The value is within you. The value is within the craft. The value is in how you interact with the world. It's not about the money you make. None of that. When you're poor, it's about the same thing. It's I need to write. It's just up. It's on every spectrum. It's in every spectrum. That's why art is so beautiful. So find that thing. Find that thing that you need to do. That you need to do. What's your thing? I don't know. I know guys who want to be priests. I know guys who want to be monks. I know guys who want to have their own pharmacology practice. I know guys who don't know what they want. I know guys who are too old to tell me what they want. I know guys who have told me that dreams are dead. I know guys who have told me that their dreams aren't for them. That life's passed them by. And I don't believe we're a generation that gives up so their kids can have something. That's backwards. I don't think you need to give up on your life so your kids can succeed. Doesn't matter it doesn't matter what your kids are doing, how much you put into them. You can still write. That's your thing. Everybody deserves their thing. A dad that's working hard to get their kids through school and college and uni and stuff. You can still have your thing, right? Like, whatever you love, do what you love. If your thing is being a dad, fucking fantastic, Fantastic. But, like, there's no limitations to you. There's no limitations to me. I don't know on that one. So when I speak, and when I say all these things to you, I don't think I believe for myself, really. There are no limitations to me. Not that we go far and we gain and gain and gain and gain and that's it, but there are no limitations. Like, you can live a good life that when you die you can say I did it all, and when you die you can say it was a good life. When you die you can say I tried, you know? I think everyone deserves a good shot at life. And I think failure's good, but I think ultimately nobody has to fail and give up. Failing and give up is like the worst thing possible. We all have our own reasons, I guess. I hope that your reason's solid. Like, like, brick and mortar solid, like, well solid, like, just, like, rooted, anchored, anchored like a tree, anchored like an oak. That things can come and hit and hit and hit, but you just still know. You just still know deep down. You can't give up. I don't know why it is I do what I do. Not fully. I don't think I'll ever understand myself fully. If I do, it'll take a while. I don't know if you will. There's always something more to be said. There's always a deeper place you can go inside yourself. There's not. I'm not feeling conclusive, and I'm not finding the right words to say to even end the video. We get one life, then we die. Whatever happens after that, men put faith in. But regardless, what we do now really does matter. This is our life. We have one shot, we can't ever take a step back. You can't ever in life take anything back. Once it's done, it's done. Every action is set in stone. History. Every action you commit is history. Whether or not people see it, if I upload this video, if they don't see it, all my words have still been said. Who is it that you choose to be, Who is it that you want to be remembered to be? To have been. Do you want to be remembered? Do you want to live your life? Like, fuck everybody else. Who is it that you want to be? With this finite time, like, what have you got? What do you want to show for it? I think to me, I don't care about how much money I make in my lifetime. I care about how many stories I make. That's my currency. It sounds corny, fuck me, it's cheesy, but like, yeah, that's it. How many poems I write. That is my currency. A couple of months ago, we all found love in the Penguin video. But why? Now that I'm realising it's kind of like something that clicks with this video. Why? Yeah. Why am I doing this? Why am I trying to reach to these heights? Why am I trying to get to that point where I'm a 50-year-old with a whole bunch of publications, and I'm a good father, and I'm a good husband, and I'm a good person, and every day I give charity, I really want to get to that point. I don't think I'll ever fucking get to that point because I'm a piece of shit, but, every day I give to charity, I'm good with myself, I'm good with everything else, I'm good with everyone else, and I give, and I help, and I teach. I want to teach these kids. I want to have all that shit on my CV. I want to have all my publications, and I want them to affect people. I want to go to talks. I want to help kids in local communities, and I want to live that life. Why do I want to be there? Why do I want to get there? Why do I want to be him? You know, but why? Why is there that mountain that I'm going towards? I suppose there's a universe. I suppose there's a galaxy. And I suppose there's a world inside that galaxy, and that's us. I suppose that this is it. This is it, right? Like what we see, what this is. You can't see what I see. I'm seeing a bird, black, fly over a strip of blue, you know, on these like cotton white clouds. I'm watching that. I'm seeing branches. I'm seeing seagulls. I'm seeing, I think the word hem. I'm seeing like the top, the hair of a tree poking out. I'm seeing rocks. I'm seeing a Cadbury's cream egg fucking Easter egg. God, it's gorgeous, you know. Why have I said, okay, I'll do this. Okay, this is my life. Because I've chosen it and I've accepted to take it up and I've said, let's do this. Let's go. Let's go 100 fucking %. Let's go till I die. I'm willing to die for this. I'm willing to live for it. Let's put 8 years into this fucking thing. Let's go. And I've said that. I've said, let's fucking go. 8 years. Let's go. I'm committed. Sign the contract, big boy. I've signed it. I've signed the contract. Why? I don't fucking know. If I could do anything else in the world, would I do anything else? No. No, every man has that fantasy of being a farmer. I remember seeing a video of that guy who biked all the way to Austria and became a farmer on a big hill. I wouldn't want to be that guy. That all sounds sort of peaceful. But let's be real, it's peaceful because, like, look at the nice view from the camera and look at the fact that he wakes up every day and green hills, blue skies and fresh air. You have that anywhere you go. It's just sometimes it's filled with some shit, you know. That'll have its own problems. Look at your own stuff. Value what you have now. Value what you have now. It's this is important. This is your own little green hills. If I could do anything else with my life, what would I choose? I'd say not be what to be, but like if I could do anything else with my life right now, what would I do? I'm a writer, you know. I want to end this video. I have to go and do stuff. I've got a fucking day to live. I did wake up early and I thought, okay, I can do a long one, but this is my last video. I hope the videos before have made a point that even inside of this why, inside of this question, even inside of the fact that sometimes I'm so headstrong and sometimes I question, that this is life and this is the ups and downs and this is what happens, but inside of all of this you can still have your thing, you can still have your love, you can, inside of the pain you can still have your passion, inside of the purpose you can still have promise that's hard to keep up with and that you feel anxious about and stressed and that's hard to fight for, but you have to fight for things and that's life, finding what to fight for and fighting for it. Some people just find their own thing, whatever yours is, as long as you know. Some people fight for Ukraine. Some people fight for Gaza. Some people fight for Iran. Some people fight for Iraq. Leave everything behind and leave me. And I got this. You know what? There's a million more words that I could say. A quadrillion words more that I could say. But I think I'm not going to say anymore. I'm not going to say any more words. I'm going to upload this video and maybe I'll write another one. Maybe I'll speak another one, but I don't know. I've got no intentions at this point. So I just want to dedicate this all to my dad, you know. If he didn't die when he died, I wouldn't have everything I have now. Things work out for the best, they really do, because I think someone with so much life must have transferred that over to me. Shout out to my dad. I would have loved to have gotten to know him. I would have loved to have known what he sounded like. I would have loved to have been told off. To have been told that I have to eat all my food, or I'm not allowed to leave the dinner table. I would have loved to have been forced into some career and do some shit I never want to do for my life. Even though he's not that type of guy. I would have loved to have made him proud and to have pissed him off. But I got given somebody else. I'm the luckiest man on the planet. I love you, Dad. I love everything I've been left, everything I've been given. And shout out to Jenny. Because I don't think that this life would have worked without her, you know? Without her, I don't think I have anything that I have right now. Nothing in this room I would have without that woman. And that's true. This mind I wouldn't have without that woman. She's put me on a path that, you know, everybody's gonna have their own life. Everybody's gonna have their own life. Please live it. I want nothing more than for you to live your life with completion, fulfillment, purpose, passion, happiness, peace, and hardships that make you better. And I want you to be able to face the void and weather the blows and stand in rain and smile even when you got no roof for the night. I want you to have a good fucking go at it. No matter what happens, have a good fucking go at life. It's right.